Okay, 10. I see your screen. We have.
Okay, and you guys can hear me okay?
I can hear you okay
Yes,
too.
sir.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I haven't finished the entire doc yet, but it's pretty complete with all kinds of stuff in here that we're going to be able to do. Let me get to the top of it. And you can see, can you see my the screen to the far left where I have my Obsidian open, or can you just see CryptoVoxels?
I just see crypto voxels right now.
Okay, and so I'll slide this over so we can take a look at it.
Now I see it too.
Okay, now this will be the document that I'm going to post up in CryptoVoxels, so I don't really have to be present on anybody that's going through any of the journeys. So it's separated into what I told you guys about earlier was there's going to be 3 quests, and within the quests, there's games. And imagine that a game within the quest is really just kind of running an obstacle course. But within that obstacle course, you're picking up clues, and those clues allow you to build a private key. So a private key consists of 64 characters. So I'm going to provide 16 clues in each of these games that sits within one of the quests. One of the quests is metagame player roles. So you're going to go pick one of your roles. Let's say you're new to metagame, and you'll take a little journey, and then we'll teach you some stuff about metagame. So there's a roles quest. There's a player's journey where you kind of go through the things that we need to do to onboard you. And then there's the what I call the Utopia World Tour. And within all of those 3 quests, like I said, there's different games. So you're not really racing against another person. You're just racing other people that are going to do your lane and make sure that you get those clues and assemble the private key before anybody else, so you can clear the rewards within that account, if that makes sense. Okay. So like I was telling you, Penguin, that this is like, I'm still working on this, but I'll scroll you down at least to what I'm going to work on for the next few hours, which is getting down into the different hunts. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you right now about the treasure hunts. The first part I told you about is where you're just grabbing clues. I'm going to give you a decode key. You're going to assemble a private key. If you're the first to do it, you get the money. But if you are late to the party, you can still submit your answer to the private key. I'm sure the account will be empty because somebody's going to clear it all out, but we'll still have second place, third place, and everybody who assembles the private key will get a commemorative NFT 1155 deposited into their Web3 account. Okay. So the way that this is going to work is if you just go to voxels.com and you just go east for 10 blocks, and then south for 6 blocks. So it's just one direction and then one direction. And I'll show you guys how that works real quick. That you'll get down into the main game center. And the main game center is where all this is going to be explained. So if you see any of these little buttons anywhere along the tour, it takes you to this hub right here. And this hub is a place that you can go reorient yourself with everything that's going to go on for MetaFest and all these tours. If anything loads slow in CryptoVoxels, if you hit the F5 key, it's going to reload your screen. And that sometimes, if it's trying to render a lot of elements, it needs a little refresh of where you're standing. So you'll see right here, this is the Web3 Skills Hub, and all of these numbered areas right here are different places you can fast travel to in CryptoVoxels that I have direct access over. So these are ones that I either collaborate on or I actually own the parcel. So I'm in charge of all the content in them and what we're going to display. The one that we're mainly using for the gaming is this one called number 24. So if you just click on this one, it's going to take you to the location. If you didn't know how to get here already, you have to go to what I was saying, where you got to go to the middle, to voxels.com. You go to the middle of the map, you go east for 10 blocks, and then you go south for 6 blocks, and you're going to be right here. So I'm just looking up that road that I was telling you about. And I'll do that demo really quickly because I want you guys to know. If anybody says, well, how do I get to the game center? You don't have to give them really like a hyperlink. You could just say, go to Voxels, go east for 10 blocks and south for 6, and you're going to be standing right in here. Okay. So once you're in here, these are the different games that I was telling you guys about. And throughout the rest of the day, I'll have it like more organized, where if you need to learn about the game right here, it's like, this is what I've been telling you. Start at voxels.com, push play. You're going to run east for 10 blocks. Can you guys see this okay on my screen, what's happening, kind of? Travel east for 10 blocks.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so you're going to fast travel down there. You're going to come up to Joy's, parcel. There's a clue that I hid inside there. So you'll gather that clue. Then you're going to run 6 blocks south. But on the way running down there, you're going to stop at the Scarlet Factory. And then you're going to pick up a clue in there. So you're going to run by the speakers. You're going to go in here. You're going to find that picture. And then I ask you a couple of questions, So, but I've blurred it out here so you can't get the answers right now. So you can watch this video as many times as you want. And I'm going to sort of like put a couple of hyperlinks, because this is the entire games, the quests, the treasure hunts. They're all in this video, but I just ran out of time. So I need the next few hours, like I said, to go cut it up so it's not so much information. These are the 10 keys up here that I'm giving away as the rewards. So I'll make sure that by the end of MetaFest, there's money in all of these accounts, some Matic, maybe some Seed, and some Weth. So depending on the complexity of the quest, there'll be different amounts in here. And like I said, the first person who assembles the private key will clear the money. So I think that there should be another way that we give some people some rewards just if they don't get for the first one. Okay, so this is the MetaFest roles that I was telling you about. So you guys should take that journey and pick up your clues. The video shows you how to do that. This is the player's journey. And this is the Utopia World Tour that takes us over to Musashi's parcel over in Miami. And I didn't get to these two over here. So it's these three are the main games. And a main game is basically like this. And I gave you the first clue of every private key for free. Which is that. So if you're running the blue game, you know that you're going to use my decode card to decode the first 4 characters of the private key. If you run the pink game, that is your decode in order to get you the first 4 of that private key. So each of these is a different game with its own private key. So there's 5 private keys represented in these colors that also coordinate to those up here. So game number 1 is the blue game. Game number 2 is, probably the pink game. But I haven't arranged everything perfectly in here, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'll go through one of these real quick, and I'll try not to give away the clues. So let's say that I want to do let's do the MetaFest roles. Okay, so you're just going to click here to start, and then it's going to take you over to our questing, the questing location. And then once this loads up, this gives everybody a little chance to see about our different guilds. And if there's a guild that somebody's interested in, just click that guild. If you're already a player in metagame, it doesn't matter because you're already in a guild. So you can pick whatever lane you want. All of these have a private key that we're assembling. So if you want, clue number 1 is G21. So you'll want to write that down. And then you're going to go to this parcel in here. And then you've got to remember the color that you started with, which I've already forgotten. I think it was the green one. Do you guys remember which one I picked? I pick artists. Well, let's say that I did the artist, so then you would click this one, and then you'd go in here and you'd see a clue here. So there's clue number 3, E39. Write it down. You got a head start on everybody else. And then you're always going to turn around and click to where the up and down glowing bars are, and then that hyperlinks you to the next location. So now this is going to take us into another little lane. We're in the green lane. You turn around, and you'll find a clue in here too. So there's J33 is the next clue. And remember, the clue is not the private key. You have to. I'm going to provide a decode card for you, so you'll cross-reference that clue, and then you'll get 4 hexadecimal numbers that are part of the private key. So you click this, and then it takes you to the next location. And then once you've gone through what I call the gates, now you're going to start your player's journey. Now this isn't not important in order to get your private key, because remember the private key game is you just need to go out and get the clues as quick as possible. But I'm going to start doing this journey because I'll start giving away too many of the clues. But if you just follow these numbers in sequence, you'll go around and you'll start getting a bunch of clues. So there's the blue clue over there for the builders. So that's F20 will be that clue. So that's how this works. I'm going to now remember anytime you're in the CryptoVoxels journey, if you see these little donuts here that say W3, if you click these, it always takes you back to the hub. Because I know a lot of people get disoriented in CryptoVoxels. So if you find those buttons, and I've tried to put a lot of them around, it'll take you right back here, and try to remember number 24 is the main game center. Okay, so if you just keep clicking to 24, you'll always arrive back here, and then you can go back in and do your next quest or game or whatever you want to do. And if you want to do them all, if you want to be the first one that gets them all, it'll take a while. And remember, I'm holding back the last private key. So there's 64 characters in a private key. The first 62 of them, you can assemble them all today once I post this stuff up. But the last 4 of them, I'm going to give away on closing day. And so everybody's just going to run to figure out that last one. And then the first person who gets it is going to clear the account. But then, depending on who participates, we'll make sure that whoever's left or whoever's made it that far with the 15 of the 16 also gets some reward that, like I said, I haven't quite figured that out yet. Okay, so that would have been that journey. That would have been the MetaFest 2 roles journey. And now this is the player's journey. If you click this one, now you get to just pick a lane. It doesn't matter. It's not like a guild or a quest or anything. So let's say I want to do the yellow lane. Remember, it's a game. I'm assembling a private key here. And so I need to get 16 clues, the first one of which was already given to me. So look down here, clue 1 is a repeat. So you already have that one. And then you're always going to click the bar that goes up and down. That hyperlinks you to the next location. So this is going to drop you somewhere else in the map. You'll be in a lane now. And you'll want to, once that regenerates, you'll want to make sure that you stay in your yellow lane. So you click your lane. And then this will provide you another clue in this lane. So there it is. B10 is the next clue for the yellow lane. And so depending on what lane you're in, if we ever wanted to do it where everybody races side by side, we could actually have a race. But I thought that would be hard for Meta Fest. So you just kind of do this on your own. It's not a race. You simply need to go through and collect 16 clues. You can get 15 of the 16 starting today. The 16th clue, which will be the last 4 digits of the private key, will come on the 22nd. Okay, so I'm going to get out of here. There's little links to get out of here. So you'll just complete that quest. And this eventually dovetails you into that player's journey where you go through and you actually learn about metagame, which is one of the treasure hunts. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to go right back to the origin, and I'm going to fast travel by doing this. So if you hit your shift key and a direction, you'll kind of recognize where we are. There's the parcel that's part of our introduction. There's the Joy parcel. And right down that street, right down there is where the game center is. So I'm lucky enough to have a few parcels in CryptoVoxels that are very, very easy to locate. So the hub is right down there. Another building that we use in the events is just beyond it in the fog there. The game center is down there. And the origin in CryptoVoxels, which is the dead center of all of CryptoVoxels. So if I push that out right here, where we need to go right here, and this is so anybody that wants to be part of MetaFest is just going to go to voxels.com and it's going to spawn them right in the middle of the map. And if you guys don't know how this works, if I scroll out by using this, you'll start to see CryptoVoxels is getting awfully large right now. So I think it's really important for people to kind of know where they're at. And you'll see mainly what we're doing in MetaFest is all in this makers and junkyard area. So we're going to fast travel back to Origin City. And then I'm going to start the tour like if I was coming into MetaFest 2 for the first time and I didn't know anything except somebody just said, go to voxels.com and walk east for 10 blocks. So we'll be here. I'm going to walk east for 10 blocks, and then I'm going to go south, and then we're going to be in this little area down here. Okay. So I'm on the tour right now. So I've already done my east 10 blocks, and now I'm going to do my south 6 blocks, running past the Scarlet building where there's a clue in there, but I've already showed you guys what that clue is. So I'm about 4 blocks. Let's call that 5 blocks, 6 blocks. And now we're back to start. Okay. And I don't think there's really anything else that I need to say for this segment. I guess I should take you guys upstairs and show you the game cards because you want to be able to keep track of these, assembling these clues. So I gave you a little, and remember F5 reloads your page. If you run around fast like I did, it doesn't really know where I'm going. And I think it's like predictive a little bit. And so I hit F5 because once I do it, it says, okay, I think you're going to stay here for a few minutes. Otherwise, it tries to render too much. So right over here, it says, click here for enter the game here. And so now this just takes you right upstairs from where we were at. But I know it's a little confusing when I started, but here is what you guys are gaming for. There's 10 accounts. Each game is a colored lane, basically, except for game 9 and 10. These are treasure hunts. The reward of winning any of these games is the money that's in these accounts, because you will be in receipt of the private key. Hope that all makes sense. Now, I have masked out a lot of this. In about 2 or 3 hours, I'm going to unmask all of this, and this will be your decode key. So how I was saying, like D5 is not the private key or any part of it. But once you've got this decode card, if you're playing game 1, you're just going to go to D5, and you'll realize that 4508 is the first 4 characters of that private key. So if you're playing game 3, H24. So if you guys grab out your game card, immediately you should pick the game you want to play, and at least write your first 4 characters of the private key down. Then once you get to the next clue in game 3, you will have another of these blue little things, and then you'll go to this decode card, and you'll just find the column, find the row, and then you'll write those next 4 characters down, and you'll just be building that. And I provide everybody like a gamer's card. So if you click this thing right here, it'll open up from Infura, and then I guess you can just print it on your computer or something. Yeah, so clue 1, D5, if you run through it, write all of your grid clues down, and then maybe grab out a piece of paper, because now you have to assemble your 64 characters. And if I have time, I'll just create one of those for the players. What else do we have up in here? For people that aren't, yeah, go ahead.
I love the look of the colored rods. They're really identifiable and interesting too. So I think it's important, like to have
the glow sticks type of thing.
Yeah,
is that what you're talking about? Penguin, I'm glad you said that, because here's how this went down. I used to walk by this parcel because it was by one of mine. Okay, this will be a little side story, and it had that glow stick in there, and I didn't know whose parcel it is, because you can't like grab stuff from other people's parcels anymore. Like before, I think you could just grab them. So it was this parcel right here, and it had a blue glow stick in it, and I just like loved it. And so, because I have this parcel right down here, this is my Lexdow one, right? And I reached out. This guy said, "Hey, you're in CryptoVoxels too," and he just happened to be in Lexdow. And I said, "Oh, do you want to give me access to your parcel? I'll build it out for like Lexdow and Web3 skills." And so what I did is I took this blue bar, and then I just like colorized it. I went into like GIMP, and I just pushed the colors, and then I came up with like 5 of them or 8 of them. So now I do all of these like little tours with these like little glowing little rods. And I would have never had that if I just didn't have access to somebody else's parcel. It's this guy's parcel. I don't even know what he's about, but that's his parcel. So yeah, I like the little glow sticks. Oh, there's more clues right here. I won't give them away though, because you guys are gonna have to come and just collect these clues on your own.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so I think I covered how to start. If you're not familiar with this, you just go to voxels.com, go east for 10 blocks. You can collect your clue there. And that's the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is the treasure hunt part of it. If you run south, you collect your clues in Scarlet Factory. And that's the only thing that's really happening outside of the parcels I have control of. I just figured that it was a good way to show people that you can do this whole thing completely anonymously. You don't have to even be connected to Web3. You can just come and have fun and be completely anonymous. And if you are completely anonymous, this is what happens. And this is a part of my presentation for tomorrow. You see how you can see this MetaFest logo bouncing, and right below is a parcel. Okay. So this is a parcel that I control, but I've gated it. But you guys can see it right now because I happen to have that token. But look what happens if I log out and just disconnect from Web3. So if I come up here and I sign out, now Voxels doesn't know who I am anymore. And it masks off all the content to anybody without that token. So we are actually using that in the Utopia World Tour game that goes through Musashi's parcel. So you can do part of this tour without a token, but at some point you're going to be warned that said, look, once you get to this part of the tour, you're not going to get access inside the parcel where there's some interesting clues and rewards, but that's why you probably want one of the tokens. I do give them a workaround where you can like circumvent it. You're just never going to see what's inside that parcel. And I really want to explore that this year about gating content, gating parcels, doing things that if you have the experience or you've done something within your guild, you'll get airdrop tokens, and those tokens will allow you to come into, like, let's say, special events. All right, so that's the token gating. Oh, now I need to go to the treasure hunt. Okay, and this is what I was working on when you rung me, penguin. So I got to clean this up so it's not like a wall of text. So I'll just spin down through it. So I've already covered this. There's the clue you're looking for at Joy's place. There's a word right in there. So you're going to just type that word in there. It says, hi, something, try again. So clue number 1. And remember, each of there's 2 treasure hunts. Each of them, one has 16 questions and one has 33 questions. You need to answer all those questions in order, but they're really easy as long as you get into cryptovoxels and you wander around. Okay. So the Scarlet Factory, I've already told you about that one. You're going to go into the Scarlet Factory. You're going to find that picture. You're going to give me the name of the 3rd word and the name of the art piece, who won the bid, and who owns it now. So that's now clues, well, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then clue 5, I tell you to go to a new area. I tell you how to get there. And then you're going to have to answer what is the title of that image. And then I just kind of walk you through. I'm going to say, what is the title of that image? What is the title of that image? Just to prove you've been in there. So okay. And then once you get through those few clues, now you're going to go to the player's journey. And you're going to start following these little numbers down here. Like it says A2, because I refer to these panels. I usually refer to 2 things throughout the game. One is City Walk, which is that's what the parcels are named. So, and that's my naming. So if you go outside of any of these parcels and you look at the parcel, you'll see the word City Walk. So I know this is City Walk 23. I've already told you guys about City Walk 24 because that's the main game area. And you'll see in here that I refer through the game about finding certain City Walk parcels. Like this one, it says go to City Walk 1. So you'll have to figure out how to navigate to City Walk 1, which is all in the hub that I told you guys about from the beginning. And now you're just going to go on the player's journey. You're just going to answer these questions. I set this up so you're actually learning along the way about metagame. And I thought that was really something interesting to experiment with, because I think by the time somebody has to answer those 33 questions, they're going to know a lot about how to do things in metagame, and I'll get to one of those really, really quickly. So I'm just going to go to the let's do it by the hub. So I'm going to go back to the hub, which is clicking that button. This is going to take me to City Walk 36. There's only a few parcels that you guys should probably remember. So this is B36. I'm going to push out F5 again. And so these treasure hunts will require you to that you're going to probably want to print it out and like just march through it. It goes in an order that's really, really easy to follow once you get the hang of it. So this is, I'll go right out to the player's journey. All right, let's just go to the start of City Walk Tour again. So this is City Walk 1, and this is where we run Bogey's video. And it spits all the players out right here. So if you really want to learn about metagame, I've assembled a bunch of the treasure hunt connected to this. So I call out certain numbers in certain parcels. Okay, so I think I called out one right here. So I say go to A5, and there's something on here that I ask you to read. So you got to read the whole thing in order to get the clue. But it's somewhere in here. I say isolate a word, and then if you have that word, it proves that you got, you went there and got that clue. So if you follow all of these, and I started out my talk this morning by getting you about this far. So as you're coming through here, based on the treasure hunt, I'm going to tell you to stop in certain areas. Okay, I'm just going to jump over here. And like here's a good example. In here, I stop you in this room and I say, go to panels A35, 36, 43, and 44. And I'm going to ask you a question about these 4. Well, these 4 panels are really important because it starts to tell people about what we do in metagame, which, as we know, has been confusing for people. I ask you a question about that. That's an important panel because that deals with source cred. And then you come around here, you can collect some of your private key clues in there. Catch them quick if you want. Otherwise, just get in here and do it. And then when you walk up here, you'll start to see this is where I really overlay what we're actually doing in game with our quests. So I lead players over to A55 and I say, read this. And then I ask you a question about it. I say, go to quest 2, read this. And I'm going to ask you a question about it. And so by going and following the treasure hunt, you will then, by the end, you will have assembled for this one 33 words that are based on the 33 panels that I wanted you to look at and read throughout the player's journey. So in this room right here, there's two things going on. One is you're assembling a private key if you've chosen to do that part of it. Remember, that is that, game 1 through 8. And there's also another game in here that's the treasure hunt, where you're simply going up here and locating the positions I wanted you to locate and answering questions about my meta or the things that we're working on. Okay. And I think for the most part that covers it. I know it was a lot because I'm still trying to form it up for later on this afternoon. And by tomorrow, it should be pretty cleaned up where I don't even really have to do this talk. I think it'll be self-explanatory if you just get to this document and you just read it. And I might get some of the stuff up at the top just because it's a wall of text. But in essence, I think that I covered almost everything here except how to work in cryptovoxels. If you fall in the water, how to go fast, what token gated parcels are, getting started. I went over that. The quest number 1, which is the role selection quest, the player's journey quest, which we just looked at, the Utopia World Tour, we haven't done, but I'm going to leave that one on your own to assemble the clues in that. What it looks like for non-token holders going through this hunt. Because remember, all the players or everybody in the Discord has a token. So if you are logged into Voxels with the account that holds your access token, you'll be able to get to the gated parcels. If you don't have that token, all those parcels will look like they're in pink. It's not too late to get a token, but we got to figure out a way to get that list and then get those minted. And then this is the treasure hunts 1 and 2. Basically, I've talked multiple times about this. This is how you start getting your clues, what they look like. This is kind of like a dry run so you can get the hang of it. And then I think I will get to this point. I'm just saying, just go follow. These are the letters up on the wall, the A35, A36. By the time I got up here, I was on a F, push the F key if you need to fly. Yes, I think the first clue in here, I think I drop you at A77. So back over here. Yeah, eventually you get down to A77. And as a hint, A77, and answer this. What is the white space on the image at location A77? Well, it looks like it's calendar. So that would be the clue there. So I just gave away one of them. Okay. All right. Well, that's it. Are there any questions? Was it completely confusing? If I do this later on, should I leave out 50% of it?
No, I think it was actually very, very helpful. And I think it gave a lot of important information that, if you were just coming into this, you might not understand, even if you were just reading it. So I think it was really important to have you go through and walk people through some of the first clues. I think it'll help motivate people to get started and feel like they can do it. So I really appreciate you walking through and going into the steps, because it might be a little bit too much information, but it's better to get people going. And I think it was very helpful. I think people will still have a lot to figure out. They got a glimpse of what they should do, but it'll really depend on them going out and doing the work. So I encourage you to do it. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm going to take a crack at it too. So I look forward to it. I think that the part of the last day is going to be a crazy scramble if everyone gets everything ahead of time. So thank you for sharing now. And I created a treasure hunt channel for you to post any relevant links for people to get started there, or any questions. I think that it should be a lot of fun. And for anyone who doesn't know, this is Voxels, or previously Crypto Voxels, that the world is in. You don't need an account, as he mentioned, to play. You just need to click the link to go to the parcel, and you can run around and view most of the clues without needing even an Ethereum wallet. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. And that's what I'll show it one more time. If anybody says, well, how do I get started on it? You're just going to go to voxels.com. You don't have to have any special account. You're going to press play. What it's going to do, it's going to center you to the very, very center of the Crypto Voxels world. You'll see I'm in Origin City right here. If I click this out, you'll see I'm here, and I said, go east for 10 blocks. That's it. So I'm going to go directly east for 10 blocks, which is about, I think it's right here. And then we're going to go down. And that's it. That's how you're going to get started this. And everything else should be in that parcel for you to learn everything that I told you guys. You're just getting a head start today because I basically talked you guys through it. But you should be able to follow the documents and do the same thing. So I'm on a fast travel. This will be the last thing that I do. Fast travel for 10 blocks. Hold down your shift key and an arrow. And when you start to see this yellow parcel right here, you should stop. And you're going to turn, and there's a clue in that parcel that you're going to need to find. It's really easy to find. And then you're going to turn right after you have that clue. So write that clue down, and then you're going to run south for 6 blocks. But on the way, you should stop at this red building and get in there. There's another 3 clues in there. You're going to find a painting. You're going to tell me the name of it, who bought it, and now who owns it. And it's easy to find literally in one click because you're just going to click it, open it up, and all that information is right there on the NFT. You're going to go back to this street, and you're going to continue your 6 blocks down. And once you're at the very end of that, if you don't have a token, you should see this parcel in pink. It means it's gated, and you won't have access to it until you get the token. And I should point this out. There's a couple of forms in here. This is where you'll want to put your answers in. So once you feel that you've assembled your answers, you're going to click this. You're going to open that Airtable link and get your answers in there with your Web3 address. And the first people that assemble the treasure hunt will win.
Awesome.
And then once you're in here, it's back on you guys. Okay, so that's that. Thanks for letting me share that again.
Awesome. And which token do they need to get into this room?
The MetaFest, this one, and there's 297 owners. So these are all the people that have them. And if you're in the Hasura database for metagame, you have now at least 2 tokens, maybe 3 now.
Oh, nice. So I've already have one.
Yeah. And so we haven't figured out a way to transfer them. I thought we were going to be able to, we would all have a couple extra one to give out to other people, but it looks like there might be a bug in that. So what we're going to do is we just have to figure out a way that if somebody says, hey, can I get one of those tokens? We just have to assemble a list, and then tomorrow or the next day, or, I'll just mint new tokens to those people. So they'll have one too to access this.
Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, you heard it. If you didn't participate last year, get your name in that treasure hunt channel or directly to Tenfinney so we can get you an access token and you can get inside this token gated parcel. That's a really cool feature that I didn't know we had in Origin City yet. So awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Or well, I'll be around today, but I'll do my Crypto Voxel more deep dive stuff tomorrow.
Looking forward to it. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
So, that's our opening day and what we had planned. We gave our opening ceremony. We heard some amazing music from Jose Cabrera. We got the intro from Peeth. We talked to some metagamers, and we got the intro on the treasure hunt. So I'm really excited for what MetaFest has in store for us 2022. Thank you, everyone that helped make it possible. And just to know that typically our day will go for another 3.5 hours from now. So the starting time is going to be the same every day. So we're going to start at 7 a.m. Pacific and end at 2 p.m. We'll post the UTC times as well for what that is. And thank you, everyone, for coming for the opening. We're going to have a great festival. Take care.